Guys, how are you? Let me just get my Instagram working if I can. There we go. How's everyone doing today? My name's Catherine, for those of you that don't know me, and I felt the need to talk today on Father's Day. For those of you that don't know me, I lost my dad when I was 18 years old. My dad died by suicide. And I felt it important today to talk about some things and just some reflections on lessons he shared with me, some really painful lessons, yet lessons I feel the world needs to hear. If you don't know me, I've also had a suicide attempt myself in my early 20s. I've been in recovery. It'll be 22 years in July. I'm super happy about that. And I've been in business, and I set out to study hope as a science and a skill, which also led me to hopelessness and studying hopelessness. So, I've been doing that around the world, and I talk about hope a lot, and yet I, often bypass some of the pain of this and some of the pain of the lessons I've learned. And as it's Father's Day today, I think it's really important to share those because I think they're as equally important as moving towards hope. And these are things that my dad taught me. And I know he would want me to share with all the men out there. So it's really important. And it was brought up because someone, that I care a lot about said to me today, just be grateful for, what you have, who you have in your life. And, it's true. We have to be super grateful for what we have and completely acknowledge that and understand the power of gratefulness. And it's also really important that we acknowledge and give space for our pain and hold our pain, because our pain teaches us so much. And I saw the consequence of my dad not honoring his pain. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about that. My dad I was really close with my dad. He was my best friend. He was a retail banker. I learned a lot about business from him. Super grateful. And one of the things, very, very close. He sent me a note before he passed, a Valentine's Day card. And I'm going to share a little bit about that with you all, not to bring you into my pain, but to just share my pain, to be authentic and real about my pain and what I've learned from it and what I've learned from my dad. He said, Kathy, there's no way I can tell you how happy you have made me, how proud I am of you, or just how much you mean to me. And, those that knew my dad, that closeness, that love that we shared, just because he's gone, it never goes away. And so on Father's Day, I honor him. And I honor that closeness we have. And instead of bypassing my pain, I feel it. The next part led me onto my journey to truly understand suicide, because it's not the pain that kills us. It is the getting stuck in the pain, and it is avoiding the pain. I hope and pray you will never experience the pain and unhappiness, the deep regret that I feel all the time. My dad said that to me. And again, what I have come to know and come to understand is it's not the despair that kills us. It's not the sadness, the anger, and the fear. It's the running from it. And so on Father's Day, I miss my dad. I feel the pain. I don't stay in it. I get into my action around it, but I do experience it. And I do feel it, and I do honor my pain. It's when we don't honor our pain that we create challenges and problems in our life. It's when we numb ourselves with substances, with addictions, with self-harm, with unhealthy patterns, unhealthy behaviors. It's not the pain alone that kills us. And my dad was stuck in that pain, and he was stuck in his sense of helplessness, his powerlessness, because he was so focused on the past and what he could not control. And that is, in essence, what hopelessness is. My dad, I went to visit him in the hospital before he passed, and he said, When he was 10 years old, he lost his father. His father died, and his mom told him, I need you to be the man now. I need you to step up and be the man of the house and stop, don't cry. Come on, you need to get to work. And my dad expressed to me that having to bury his pain was so painful for him, and he carried that, and it came out in such unhealthy ways throughout his life. And it was so hard for him when he finally addressed it. And so, I've committed my life to ensuring, that people know how to get to hope, how to move to hope. I'm not saying hope is easy, because it's not. And when you feel deeply, and like, I feel so deeply, my dad's saying he hopes I never feel that. Like, God, I feel everything so incredibly deeply. I'll never not be able to feel that pain, but what I will be able to do is move through that pain in healthier ways for myself, and not getting stuck in the pain, and then learning to figure out where is my power in the situation. Because when we get stuck in that emotional despair, that fear, that sadness and anger, coupled with that sense of helplessness, that's what hopelessness is, those two kind of key ingredients together. And that's when we stay cycled in that state of hopelessness, and that is dangerous. So, it's not about not feeling pain. If you've lost a dad on Father's Day, if your dad's not around, it's about understanding and having compassion for that pain. And then what can you actually do about it that's healthy? One of the greatest gifts that I've done for myself is, instead of staying stuck in that despair and helplessness about having my dad here, I created other really wonderful relationships with other father-like figures in my life. Dr. Myron Belfer is an example. He has become like a father to me and cared so deeply for me. Paul Carter, there are so many people that can serve as father-like figures for us. So, hope isn't about bypassing our negative emotional states. It's about understanding them, having compassion for them, learning to acknowledge those emotions in healthier ways, and then moving out of our helplessness and into action. Where is our power in the situation? What can we do about it? Not ruminating on the past, honoring our past and using it to carry people forward and legacies forward. The greatest gift my dad gave me was to teach me about hopelessness, about understanding that cycle we get stuck in. And then, me researching and learning and studying how we get to hope, how we move towards hope in life, because we're really either moving towards hopelessness or towards hope. And that was a great gift from my dad. He taught me so much, and he taught me of the power of love. He loved me more than probably anyone I've ever felt, and I'll always miss him, and that's okay, but I will carry him with me in my work. And I will use my energy today to ensure that I teach as many people around the world as possible how to navigate that state, so that we don't take our lives, so that we learn to move forward. Our hopes change, but we can move forward in a new direction. And so, that's my greatest wish for you. And I want to thank you for supporting me on this journey, for supporting me in my work and in my mission. We're celebrating the second International Day of Hope this year, which is so exciting to me. July 12th, we'll be, activating all over the world around hope. So I would love for you to join me. Again, hope is not just a wish. Hope takes, we've got to feel good, and then we've got to take action towards what we want in life. And so thanks to all of you for being there for me and, teaching me so much about hope. And to all you fathers out there, thank you for working every day to raise our children in the best way possible. And may we keep evolving and learning and growing and all improving together. So I celebrate all the fathers all over the world, and appreciate you all so much and wish you a very blessed day. Thanks a lot for listening.